Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Widler and welcome to Election 2020, a pro-life perspective. Today I'll be taking an in-depth look into the 2020 presidential election as well as key races for the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives. But first, I would like to share with you my pro-life story, how I became involved with the pro-life movement. So when I was in 8th grade, my mom was pregnant with my brother Kyle. And I remember being so fascinated with how the baby develops inside the womb. My mom came home from her appointment with the OBGYN. She was 8 weeks pregnant and she showed me an ultrasound picture. And I remember seeing my brother. He had 10 fingers, 10 toes. I saw his head and he had a beating heart. My mom described the sound of the heartbeat. She said it sounded like a horse trot. And actually, the unborn baby's heart begins to beat just 21 days into the pregnancy. A lot of people don't realize that. And from the moment of conception, the moment the sperm fertilizes the egg, you have a unique set of DNA separate from the mother and the father. The hair color, eye color, personality traits are all determined at the moment of conception. So I want to show you something similar to what I saw. This is an ultrasound picture of an unborn baby at 12 weeks gestation. So you can see the head there. You can see the arms and legs. The unborn baby at this point has a functioning brain and all organ systems are in place. And then I also want to show you, here's a model of an unborn baby at 12 weeks gestation. Pretty much the only difference really between this 12-week unborn baby and a newborn infant is size and location. So my brother was born on November 8th, 1999, very exciting day. And I remember the next year was an election year, the 2000 presidential election. And I remember the topic of abortion came up and I knew nothing about abortion. I asked my mom, "Mom, what's abortion?" And my mom told me that abortion was when the woman doesn't want the baby, so she has a doctor end the pregnancy, essentially killing the baby. And I said to my mom, "But that's awful. Why would anybody want to do that?" And my mom said that she didn't know. She didn't know why anybody would want to do that. And so the 2000 presidential election was between George W. Bush and Al Gore. George W. Bush was pro-life, Al Gore was pro-abortion. And I remember Al Gore saying, "I will protect a woman's right to choose." And I thought to myself, so you think that having an abortion is a choice? Ending the life of an innocent, helpless, unborn baby is a choice? It was at that point that I decided to make it my mission to end abortion in the United States, to protect these innocent, precious little children, and to show love and encouragement towards these women considering abortion, to give them the courage and the strength to choose life for their beautiful babies. So here we are. The 2020 election is coming up, less than 4 months away, and we have our current president, Donald J. Trump, versus Joe Biden. And President Trump is actually the most pro-life president in history. So I want to flash back a little bit to 2016 when then candidate Donald J. Trump was debating Hillary Clinton on abortion. At the time, Trump pledged, he stated, "I am pro-life. I will appoint justices to the Supreme Court who are pro-life, and the issue will go back to the states." Essentially, you know, if he appoints pro-life judges, Roe versus Wade, the decision, the Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion would be overturned. And Hillary, of course, pledged to fight for a woman's right to choose. And she said, I will stand with Planned Parenthood. In case you're not familiar, Planned Parenthood is the nation's leading abortion provider. Every year they perform over 300,000 abortions. They kill over 300,000 innocent, helpless babies in abortions. And so Trump responded to Hillary, and here's what Trump had to say. I quote, if you go with what Hillary is saying, in the 9th month, on the final day, you can take the baby and rip the baby straight out of the womb of the mother just prior to the birth of the baby. Some might say that that's okay. Hillary might say that that's okay, but that is not okay with me, folks. At that moment, I was so proud of Donald Trump. He stood up to Hillary Clinton like no other Republican ever has. So, Trump's been in office now for 3.5 years, and I wanted to highlight his pro-life accomplishments since taking office. The first one is he reinstated the Mexico City policy, which prohibits any United States foreign aid from going to organizations that perform abortions, promote abortions, or refer for abortions. He also put in place a new Title X gag rule that prohibits any organizations that receive Title X taxpayer dollars. It prohibits them from performing abortions, referring for abortions, or promoting abortions. So as a result of this Title X rule, Planned Parenthood actually withdrew from the Title X program, forfeiting $60 million a year in taxpayer dollars. So I definitely applaud President Trump for doing that. Now, unfortunately, Planned Parenthood still gets $600 million a year in taxpayer dollars through Medicaid reimbursements. Congress failed to pass a defunding bill, fell one vote short. The House passed it, and it fell one vote short in the United States Senate, sadly, because John McCain voted against the defunding bill, in spite of the fact that he had said for years that he was pro-life. It was a deeply disappointing moment. Trump appointed the third pro-life accomplishment for President Trump was he appointed 2 pro-life justices to the United States Supreme Court. This is huge. He appointed Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. These appointments to the court are a lifetime appointment. So had Hillary Clinton won, she would have appointed 2 pro-abortion justices for a lifetime appointment to the court. So had she won, there would be zero hope right now of overturning Roe versus Wade and ending abortion in the United States. But now that we have these 2 pro-life judges on the court, there is hope. So, it's Trump versus Biden. President Trump is pro-life and opposes taxpayer funding of abortion. Joe Biden supports taxpayer funding of abortion. This is an interesting change because Biden has had a long political career. He's the former vice president, and he was also a senator for many years before that. And all those years, he supported the Henry Hyde Amendment, which prohibited federal tax dollars from being used for abortions. He supported it year after year after year. But then, he decided to run for president this year. During the primary, all of his Democratic opponents were opposed to the Hyde Amendment. So he caved. So he flip-flopped. So now he wants you, he's not just pro-abortion, he also wants you, the taxpayer, to pay for it. Trump has pledged to defund Planned Parenthood. He will completely defund Planned Parenthood if Congress is able to pass the bill. He'll sign it. stripping Planned Parenthood of their $600 million a year in taxpayer dollars. An abortion clinic should not be getting taxpayer dollars, period. So even though like the federal money can't go towards abortion, supposedly this federal money that's going to Planned Parenthood is for their other services. There's other healthcare providers out there that don't do abortions. So it's Planned Parenthood is still benefiting from this on. They can use this money to keep their lights on, remodel their buildings, what have you. So I mean, it's still helping an abortion clinic continue to operate. So that's why they shouldn't be getting this money. There's plenty of other healthcare agencies that help the poor that don't do abortions. And Joe Biden, of course, says that he stands with Planned Parenthood, wants them to continue to be funded, and he even says that Planned Parenthood provides valuable health care to women. I'm sorry, Joe Biden, but ripping innocent little babies out of their mother's womb is not health care. And of course, finally, Trump has already appointed 2 pro-life judges to the Supreme Court. He's appointed multiple pro-life judges to federal courts. And if he's reelected, he plans on continuing to appoint pro-life judges to the Supreme Court and the federal courts. So the stakes could not be higher for this election. If Joe Biden's elected, he will appoint judges who are pro-abortion, who support Roe versus Wade. So be sure to get out there and support our pro-life president, Donald J. Trump. So now moving on to key United States Senate races, because this is a team effort. We need pro-life senators and pro-life representatives in the House to pass bills to defund Planned Parenthood, to ban abortion, and eventually one day I really would like to see a constitutional amendment that declares that the unborn child is in fact a person. I think I've proved that to you by showing this picture. This is a person. It's not a clump of cells. It's not a blob of tissue. It's a person. So in the Senate, in Illinois, we have our current Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat, who is facing Mark Curran, a Republican who is pro-life and the former Lake County Sheriff. So he spent his whole career serving and protecting individual liberties and freedoms of the citizens, and he believes that unborn children should have equal protection under the law. Dick Durbin, on the other hand, is pro-abortion. He's received thousands and thousands of dollars in political contributions from Planned Parenthood, the nation's leading abortion provider. In 2003, he voted against the partial birth abortion ban, which that actually passed and was upheld by the Supreme Court. It was a particularly grisly abortion procedure where the unborn baby is actually delivered in the breech position, so the baby's legs are already outside of the birth canal and the head is still inside the mother, and the abortion doctor actually takes a pair of scissors and stabs the unborn baby in the head and suctions the brain out. And so, I mean, this ban passed, but Senator Durbin voted no, meaning he was in favor of this horrible, horrific procedure that ends the life of an innocent child at a stage when the unborn baby could feel excruciating pain. And it gets worse, folks. Senator Durbin, recently the Senate considered a bill called the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. With this bill, this deals with a case where the unborn baby actually survives the abortion procedure and is is born alive, essentially, is on the table, gasping for breath. The Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act would require doctors to provide the same level of care to that abortion survivor, to that infant, as they would to any other infant born at the same gestational age. So, for example, at 24 weeks of pregnancy, if a baby is born prematurely at that stage, they can survive. They'll have to go into the neonatal intensive care unit and into an incubator, but they can survive at this stage. But what is being found very often, if babies are surviving abortions, late abortions at this stage, 24, 25 weeks, very often the doctors are not providing life-saving care. They're only issuing, and I quote, comfort care. So they give the baby a blanket, but no, they're not being put in an incubator. They're basically just being left to die. And Senator Durbin voted no for this bill. He's perfectly okay with letting infants that survive abortions die on the table, with denying them care. I just don't know how somebody could be so cruel. Mark Curran definitely supports this legislation and supports protecting the most vulnerable, children in the womb. So please, if you live in Illinois, support Mark Curran for Senate. Dick Durbin has been senator since I was in elementary school. I think it's time he retire. Now, I'm mainly focusing on Illinois races, but if there is one particular race out of state that I want to tell everyone about, if you live in the great state of Kentucky, Mitch McConnell has been the senator there for many years. He is pro-life, and he's the Senate Majority Leader. So he's played a key role in confirming those pro-life judges, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, because the Senate's role, the U.S. Senate's role, is to confirm the judges for the Supreme Court as well as the federal courts. He's confirmed countless federal judges, and he helped to confirm Gorsuch and Kavanaugh onto the Supreme Court, two pro-life judges. So his opponent is Amy McGrath, and she is pro-abortion. She calls it pro-choice. They all call it pro-choice, but it's really to conceal the fact that they're openly advocating for the killing of innocent unborn children. So Amy McGrath was asked if she would support any restrictions at all in abortion, and she said no. She stated that, "I just don't think the government should be getting involved with a woman's right to choose." She said it's such a deeply personal decision. Really? Now, if someone were to kill a 2-year-old intentionally, they'd be charged with murder. So why is it when the baby's inside the mother, it's called a woman's right to choose? Actually, the role of government is to protect the people of their country. That's why murder is illegal. You can't just kill a 2-year-old because you don't want to be a mother anymore. So why should it be any different when the baby is inside the womb? So Amy McGrath, she's definitely way off base on this. I hope someday she has a change of heart. But in the meantime, if you live in Kentucky, please get out there and vote for Mitch McConnell on November the 3rd and keep Kentucky pro-life. So now we're going to shift back to my home state of Illinois. We're going to look at a race for United States Congress. It's in the 6th Congressional District. This is a significant district because this was actually the district of former Representative Henry Hyde, who actually wrote the Hyde Amendment, which has been passed every year in Congress since 1976, which prohibits federal dollars from paying for abortions. So the seat is currently held by Sean Casten, who is pro-abortion, and he actually stated that he said, I look at abortion as just any other procedure like a gallbladder surgery. Mr. Caston, abortion is not gallbladder surgery. Ripping an innocent, helpless, unborn baby out of the womb of the mother is not the same thing as removing a diseased gallbladder. Jeannie Ives is running against Sean Caston. Jeannie is a West Point graduate, served in the United States Army, and served as an Illinois state representative for 6 years. Jeannie is pro-life and pro-liberty. She will fight for the weakest among us. And I encourage you, if you live in the Illinois 6th Congressional District, to support Jeannie Ives for United States Congress on November 3rd. The stakes could not be higher in this election. If you enjoyed this video, please tap like and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap the bell to receive new notifications when a new video comes out. In the coming episodes, we will continue to look at the upcoming election. We'll take a closer look at Roe versus Wade, the infamous Supreme Court decision which legalized abortion in the United States. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day, and God bless you.